Hi, Floral friends, and welcome back to another Full Bloom. We are getting into episode 5, and we are whittling them down.
I know, it's like the competitors are out of here, out of here, out of here. So episode 5, Pedal to the Metal. As you can see, we're both in our, well, I'm in my mechanic chic. Garrett has his biker broad, whatever that is. And we are here to discuss the episode 5. So yeah, the personal task on this one was about a bicycle. So that kind of pedal. They had to design a bicycle for a fellow competitor. Bicycle was provided, and it should represent their design, their fellow designers' design aesthetic. So whatever that that other designer evokes in them should be represented in the bicycle. So let's go ahead and jump into these. First of all, we have Ace and his bike was for Kristen. Kirsten, I don't know where I came with that. She got real fancy all of a sudden. For Kristen, and I'm gonna go ahead and bloom this one. I loved it. I definitely got Kristen right off the bat. I love what he did with these are hula hoops, and he like folded them to give this kind of like leaf design to kind of mimic the bird of paradise leaves, the Strutzelia leaves. Beautiful. He did the blue orchids, which is super Kristen. The pampas grass, all crazy colored, super Kristen. I get her from this, and I think he did a great job. So bloom.
I bloom this. I agree. I like the very angular use of the hula hoops and breaking them. The orchids and everything were in better condition when they were judged.
They were.
You can tell that these are taken hours later because you start to get some droopage. But I like that he kept things in groups also for that concentration of color. So you get like these beautiful bunny tails, but they're separated. If you get the grass, it's a nice chunk of color, but still flows together. And this is Ace again, trying something he normally doesn't do with color.
Totally.
And very well. So bloom, bloom.
Bloom, bloom. Now we have Justin for Beth.
I'll start with this one. I like the color harmony. To me, this is a prune. It's too basic. It could be anybody. It could be anything. I think Beth has shown too much technical skill, too much forward-thinking floral artistry. To me, this is anybody. This is anything. This is for a wedding. It's too simple.
That's really it right there. Beth has shown so much this competition. She has shown her skill. She's shown her ability to adapt. She has shown so much. And this literally gives me like everyday wedding like design.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a disservice to Beth. So I'm going to prune it.
Absolutely. Prune. Oh, Kristen. This one is by Kristen, and she selected Adam. She did end up leaving us this week. I will start off by pruning this. Adam, just like Beth and before, has shown unique color usage, product usage, technical skill, and floral artistry. And while she focused on his personalities, the design asked for their design and aesthetic. I appreciate that he does drag him. It is at the forefront of his personality, but she focused too much on this quiet everyday and the vibrancy of who he is. But I don't get the vibrancy in this design. So for me, this is a prune. I don't look at it and see Adam in any aspect.
So I'm also going to prune this. However, I do disagree with you a little bit. I do get the Queen Protea, which is Adam's drag persona back here. I get that. I like the pampas and the feathers, and I think that's fun with the butterflies. Even I like the tasseling carnations. What I don't get Adam from is the everyday basket at all. And I feel like I understand what she was doing in the duality of his personas. Exactly. I still need to be. We can. And here's the deal. Even if this was married, this is not the high skill that Adam does. Adam is a high level, high skill, out of the box designer. I would like to see something, with some beautiful angular lines, something a little bit more high technical skill.
Interesting texture.
Exactly.
Flowers, yeah.
So, prune for those reasons.
Beth O'Reilly.
For Justin.
For those that don't know, they had to pick an envelope out of Maurice's pocket And then that was the designer they had designed for. So Justin and Beth got each other, but it was a random pick. I'm gonna start off with a prune. This was odd. Again, it is a beautiful floral design. The colors are nice, but I have no clue why she's using furs and the dripping sequence fabric. Even if he likes fabric in the wind, it's not really has to do with his.
I saw them sequence come out, I was like, Beth, baby, what are you doing?
Yeah, it was just very odd choices. Again, I could see this at a wedding if you took out
it's beautiful.
If you took out the little details. Beautiful design.
I love this little cart on it.
Great, but
so
this
cute.
is
it's nothing to do with the floral design on the bicycle.
And it doesn't, to me, say anything about Justin.
Agreed.
So for me, that's a prune.
It's going to be a prune also for me. It's a light prune because it's just like Justin. It's the light prune because it's a beautiful bike. I love the delphinium. I love the deep red roses. You know, like the color choices and things like that. It's gorgeous, but it's not. It doesn't give me Justin at all. I love how she said handsome. Like
she said handsome
70 times. She thinks
and he is a very attractive man. But she said handsome a lot.
I was like, we should take a shot for every time he says handsome. We'd be wasted. Connor for ace. Garrett, take it away.
I hate this. I think this is absolute garbage. The judges loved this. I did not. I think we are never going to let Connor ever use moss ever again in his life. Like, it's restricted. You can't touch Spanish moss ever again. There are elements I like and I do not like. This is a very odd shape and style. If you wanted a tail, make a tail. Again, this may be an angle thing because you can kind of see stuff in the back. However, the colors are odd to me. They do not marry also. If you're going to have this horse thing going on, accentuate a beautiful flowing tail to create movement or something. I get the Texas thing and he's prickly on the outside, soft on the inside, but I lost that when all of a sudden these soft things were piled on top of the harder flowers. She a prune.
I'm gonna prune it too, but I disagree with you hard on the color. Like it's a red. I mean it is red, orange, yellow. There's some green, and then the blue.
See, I didn't
and
even
the
notice
purple.
that.
So like that's where I'm like I'm fine with that. But the moss, baby, Connor, baby, the
Connor,
moss,
baby,
the
no.
moss, please. With the moss. I love the pony head. I know you hate it. I think it is so cute. I wish he had been just a little bit higher.
I wouldn't hate it as much if there wasn't the little tiny, throughout the whole entire thing, there's these very, like, I'm doing ace, punching you in the face over and over. If there was one little shtick and went with it, fine. But there's so many, the more you look into it.
See, the pony head, like, if it was a little bit higher, you could actually, like, I don't know, make out there's this bit of whimsy that could be there to it, where I feel like the placement of everything, it like loses it, and it almost makes it look like you're trying to be serious with it instead of the very clear whimsy that it is. And if that whimsiness was played up more with the rainbows, the ace in the spokes wouldn't bother me as like the things wouldn't bother me as much. It loses some whimsy.
It needed to be edited.
Exactly. But I see where he was trying to head, and so I'm not trying to be as hard on it as you are.
I think it's awful.
But baby
and
Connor,
it's a prune.
lay off the moss.
Yeah.
Next, Adam for Connor. I'll go ahead and go, and this is I'm gonna bloom this one, even though there is a ton of moss, because it's for Connor, and we all know that he loves moss. So, also I love that Adam made Connor cry.
Yeah.
And it was such a sweet moment, and Connor was like, I feel so seen, and I just feel like it was so sweet, and I see Connor in this design. I love the horns and the natural vibes. I think Adam did a great job, not only in his product selection for Connor, but also in the design.
Yeah. I bloom this, a lot of the same things as Matt. When a designer has an emotional reaction to it, you've done your job.
Yeah.
He is your client. It's not the judges that are really your client. You are designing for the person in that room, and when they emotionally connect to it, whether they hate it or not, you did it.
Yeah.
Beth's trying to do a helmet. I think the helmets, leave them alone. You don't need to be out here with the helmets.
I'd rather have one with horns, though.
But he did it well. That creates motion. The horns are very in the realm of Connor. I love bones. Matt knows I love working with bones and horns and things that are a little bit more like macabre kind of vibe.
Okay.
But I bloom this. The moss is done in an edited way. I can still ride this bike, and it makes sense for a moss lover. Connor might not love moss, but he sure doesn't not. But I also don't see others using the saddlebags that came with every bike, and the use of the skulls and elements enhance the design. They don't take away from the design like we've seen from other designs. So this is a bloom for me.
And that is that for the
Yeah.
team, or for the personal tasks. So now we have the group challenge, which was they had to, I know you love especially, they had to transform a car that was provided to them by by HBO. And they were working in teams. I think they had
first time having three teams in the competition.
And there were, so it was teams of two, right? Yeah. 3 teams of 2. Excuse me, we have our four-legged observer here today again. And they had 3.5 hours. So they had to, with transforming the car, they were given the poles again. They're flower poles, I believe.
They were giving their full color harmony and flowers. They didn't have to select flowers. It was a huge variety of colors specifically chosen.
But they had 3.5 hours, and they had to create a sense of movement through enhancing the cars, not decorating them. And they drove that point home. They really, like the judges, they were like, don't be just slapping things on it and calling
Don't make it a parade float.
Exactly.
They're beautiful cars. Keep them beautiful and create a fantasy with it. Hello.
Hi, Rose.
Hi, Rose. And so we have 3 teams. We have 2 teams created by the winners, and then the 2 losers put together a team. So our first team is Connor and Kristen. Kristen actually was in last place going into this event, and so she had to do killer. Our next team was Ace and Adam. Adam was the team lead with Ace as a teammate, and then the other were the 2 that hadn't been selected or the end of the lower end of the scale, and that's Beth and Justin. And so let's get into the first one. Connor, because he was number 1, he got to pick his vehicle first. He picked this immaculate
beautiful
VW bus. Everything from the curtains to every detail is flawless. And so he went with a hippie van. They are crashing through a field because they're late to get to Woodstock, and that's the fantasy they're giving.
I'll go ahead and start off, and I am going to soft bloom it, and I know that you probably disagree with me.
I have not spoken.
But there are some things in this design that I just really love, and I thought that they did so well, especially when it comes to creating a sense of movement. And not decorating. And that is, just ignore all of this for right now. Up in the front, and then what I wish we had a photo of is the back. They took like wheatgrass and like literally made it look like there were tire tracks coming in, and the front, plowing through this thing of flowers. It was so successful in that, like, what they wanted to do here was not successful. I don't think they wanted to create this spilling out tie-dye effect. It's pretty, but then again, it's just that chicken wire wall of flowers that we have seen and railed about, I think, every single episode now.
Let it go.
Like, we get it. That's how you do big installations.
Yes.
It's great. But I feel like what they wanted to do was the spilling out of the van, and I miss that. It's very much a decoration here.
Yeah.
But the other parts of it, super successful and very creative, and so I'm going to give it a soft bloom because I think the other parts were so good.
As someone that has competed internationally and placed very well adorning a car and not decorating it, I love stuff like this. I live for this. One of my highest scoring international designs was creating a Mohawk delivery vehicle.
Oh my god, and that little car was so cute.
And it was a fun process because you have to think about how the lines of the car are. You have to think of the details. And so I think that they did a good job adorning. However, it's a soft bloom for me also. I think that how they did deconstructive design in the grass and still made it all cohesive. There's the pile of it pushing out in front. They created movement. One of the requirements was create movement. For me, the opportunity, this completely takes away from the movement of the car because of the concentration of color. The detail in the best part of this becomes secondary. So I understand that they were trying to get hippies flowing out of a car. I agree with the judges, and I think Matt does too. Having the doors partially closed or one closed, less work to do and more detail you could get into it.
Also, the ability for more of a mechanic base that you can really get something that's actually spilling out instead of just spilling down.
The buckets could have been tipped over, because if you're slamming into some of these buckets, they'd stay pristinely right there. It's a soft bloom. I think that these little details could go because these little flower
I like those little details. I feel like this one gives me Woodstock though.
I
like the less stressed up.
Let me finish.
Okay, go. Bitch.
I'm not done. This is nice. Flower crowns would not just be sitting randomly on your vehicle when you're plowing into a field. I like this detail because it enhances. This could have been accentuated elsewhere to tie the front to the back. The flower crowns, I like the peace sign in the back. Huge fan of that. If you did smaller amount of this, it could have been more detailed and more intentional.
It was also really big. It could have been just like a little...
And it's a missed opportunity where it could be on the inside and you're pulled into the vehicle because no other designers created the movement of getting into the car. And so there's opportunities. It's a soft bloom. It was fine.
But definitely also the vehicle I would have chosen to work with.
I would have chosen, this is my #1 vehicle to work with because of the size, the color, and just how fun it is.
So next team was Team Ace with this more classic, like, I don't know, it looks like a bootlegger's car. A prohibition truck. That's what they did.
I'll start with this one. This is an old actual delivery truck that has been completely redone. I am going to prune this. It is a Rose Bowl parade. They have this idea of they're plowing into something or they're racing away from the police and all of a sudden their flowers and their boots are flying out of the back. The part of your story that is the alcohol and prohibition are cardboard boxes with X's on it. No man PM.
Yeah.
You have really nice crates. There's barely any flowers along the back. And the biggest emphasis on flowers and flower colors, well, we'll get to you. The biggest emphasis for me is these wheels and the front, and that is parade float to me. So for me, it's a prune. Is it pretty? Yes. Is it emphasizing the lines and enhancing the car? Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's a big old prune for me too. There's all these random, for all of the things that, literally everything that you just said, and some.
And then more.
And then like, what are these? There's just these random sunflowers laying on the car, no water source, like, come on guys.
There's not a direction.
And both of these guys know better.
I think this was also another team leader issue because this is one of Adam's first times being a team leader, and Ace throughout the episode overtakes everything. Adam had another idea. I don't think it was as good as Ace's prohibition truck, and Ace kind of became the leader, kind of like edging himself in because he had the idea.
Yeah.
And Adam was like, here you go, for the most part. He still had opinions. However, Ace was very much.
Yeah, that whole back part was just a damn mess.
Yeah.
Which is not even on this photo.
Prune.
And then Team Beth and Justin, they were a peeling out Thunderbird.
I'll start with this one. I'm going to soft bloom this. Only because this is a bad angle to see it. The very fine detail of the tire marks creating a beautiful curve from something small into actually the tires, like it gets smoky and full into the tires. In the back, gorgeous. This parade flow mass design is what ruins it. This is not it's not enhancing the car in any way. I understood they wanted this to be smoky. This is the first time I will ask you to do wire mesh with baby's breath. Because I just do a subtle little amount, pop the hood a little bit, and have just a little bit of baby's breath smoking out. You're done, and you have emphasis on the back in the movement of the car.
Yeah.
Why I still soft bloom it is because Justin's detail is very beautiful in the back. This is just to parade flow.
I'm with you 100%. It's a soft bloom for me too. That front was terrible though.
Yeah.
The front was awful, but when they showed the back, I was like, oh, okay, that's it.
The details just right weight-wise and everything.
Yeah.
So prune. I mean, bloom, double bloom. Oh my god.
So what is your bloom of the week?
My bloom of the week is Ace's bike. It is, the colors are right, the elements are right, and also when your designer is so excited to get on the design you made them and ride off into the sunset.
She said bye!
And it was such bad foreshadowing because Kristen was going to go home. But
I hope she got to keep her bike.
She did not, but she got to ride off into the distance. This is also where we start to see the very end part weirdly not give it to people in a kind way. But I'll let you, what is your bloom of the week?
My bloom of the week, actually, here we are, like, pretty much agreeing every
Yeah.
week, because mine is Aces as
When
well.
good design is good,
Second to Adams to Connor for the emotional reaction, but I like the design of Aces
it
more.
was the same to me, but in a Kristen way. She was so excited. It was her.
Yeah.
And while
I just like
there
that.
wasn't
I like that
tears.
one more. It was more the hula hoops and things like that. It was more
Yeah.
fun. It was very much, I don't know. That was my.
It has a
mine.
good energy. So
Good job, Ace. Again, that was last week and this week. Bloom of the week.
absolutely. We're getting down to the top 5.
It's crazy.
It goes fast. The judges are not here for sacrificing yourself. Connor did try to sacrifice himself for Kristen, and that question of, do you want to be here, arises. Because while it is a good, friendly thing, and we know Connor is very kind, it's $100,000.
Yeah.
I know people on this show, and I would still.
It's not full bloom best friend race.
No. It is still $100,000, and while I may have known Ace and Beth for a long time, I'm here to win.
Yeah.
Or I'm here to do the very best I can, whether someone's a friend or not. And so while Connor's very sweet, it very much shows, are you in it? Like, no matter how nice you are, it is a competition. And so Kristen goes home. It was another good week, I think.
It was a good week.
This recharged me from the really disastrous designs of last week. So I'm very excited for next week. It's where Matt was multiple peppers of spicy a few weeks ago. I am so spicy about the next one.
Ooh, spicy boy.
So join us on Monday for another Floral Observations where we are getting into the top 5. And it is
spicy.
It is the best designers going against the best designers, and the judging gets harder.
Also join us on Friday at 3 p.m. Central Time on the Floral Today Facebook page when we go live with our Floral Friday.
Yeah.
We'll have some special guests. We're lining up guests from this show as we speak. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be great.
See you next Monday.
Bye. Say bye, Rosie girl. Bye.